Hello and welcome to the Relax. It's Retirement Podcast with your host, Josh Leonard, where we talk about transitioning into retirement with intent. I'm Wendy McConnell. Hi, Josh.
Hey, Wendy, how are you today?
Well, I'm good. I'm seeing a whole new setup here. I'm seeing multiple people. What's happening? What's happening?
Oh, we are progressing. Yeah, we have the new podcast set up here. We've only done a one-on-one here, but we have our first in-person guest today. My wife, our director of finance, and the mother of two amazing children, Yana Leonard, as our first in-person guest today.
Welcome and thank you for being here, Yana.
Thank you. I'm super excited.
Yes. Okay. So, what are we going to be talking about today, Josh?
Well, we are going to be talking about our evolution, sort of as a couple, and during the fourth quarter of last year, Yana joined the practice as well. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But proper planning, or me not flying by the seat of my pants, would have scheduled this properly so that Yana would be on for Valentine's Day, not shortly after Valentine's Day. And I have a bit of a confession, Wendy.
Okay.
I'm the guy that buys flowers the day of Valentine's Day, and gets the card and does all that stuff real quickly.
Pay the most money.
No. I go to Aldi's. Aldi's.
Okay, but there's a lot of you guys like that out there. I wouldn't, worry about it too much.
So you do have to get there early to Aldi's. Aldi's has affordable flowers, but you have to get there early, otherwise they sell out. But
Okay.
So Yana helps me because she plans some things ahead a little bit more, helps organize me. So I think it's pretty good that she helped me in joining the practice. But we met in college, Wendy. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if we've talked about that before.
I don't think so.
Well,
It's been a long time because you're really old.
Yeah. Well, this December it'll be 10 years
Of our wedding anniversary,
Yeah.
10, and then dating. Do you?
You guys are just babies. Just
Yeah.
babies.
Yeah, my
like 13 years dating this
yeah,
summer.
my parents are celebrating their 45th wedding anniversary
Yeah.
this year. So
Wow.
yeah,
It's a couple moons.
yeah. So we have something to aspire to.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. But we met in college. Ironically, we met, and Yana was an accounting major. I was finance and political science. I do have to say, I married way smarter. Yana got her master's in the time it took me to do my undergrad. So,
But Josh what happened was in college, we actually lived in the same building. It was very accidental. We met after, but we lived in the same apartment building. And Josh would make me coffee every morning. And if you know anything about me, I love to have a good cup of coffee. And every morning before I would go to class, I would stop down in because he was, you were like, what?
I was the second floor. You were penthouse floor. You were a little bit fancier.
It was not fancy. I think, I think maybe 8 wasn't a number.
Yeah, 8
It was
or 9.
8 or 9.
Yeah.
It wasn't that big of a building. And they, and you would make me a cup of coffee every morning. I would stop by and we would I never drink a full cup.
That's still true today. Yeah. So Yana's really good at she likes the first half of the cup
It
of
gets
coffee.
cold, or I don't know what happens at the bottom of my coffee mug, but I'm like, I think I'll have like a quarter of the cup.
Yeah.
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 I do that as well. But here's the question I have for Josh. Do you still make her a cup of coffee every
Oh,
day?
every day.
Every
yeah.
morning.
When I'm traveling, that is as soon as I get home, that is the first, I can't wait for you to make coffee again.
Yeah. I will. Yeah. If he's traveling or if I'm traveling, I always have to go, I'll go and get a cup of coffee somewhere. And it's always a very big deal for me. Like if I have to go in the morning and get a smoothie or a cup of coffee, I'm like, ugh. I have to go and they don't know how I like it. And maybe it's not the best. And then I have to stand in line. And otherwise, Josh, every morning, even before I'm out of bed, has a cup of coffee for me, ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a key. And the other big thing Well, I think it was also dinner. So since Yana was in her master's program, she had a lot of evening classes.
Yeah.
So I would drive her to class, drop her off, make dinner, and then pick her back up.
I had no time for any other gentlemen. So that's how we ended up getting married.
So he just wore you down because
wore-
lack of options.
Well, in college, we didn't have kids. There was nothing. I have actually no idea why we were always late to everything. But like when we were in college, we, Josh would pick out some recipe and he would make some like gourmet like meal for me. It was very fancy and very over the top. Now it's like mac and cheese and like chicken breast. But
In fairness,
it has evolved. Just like our relationship, you know, that those kind of things evolve over time. I don't know that like I drink a full cup of coffee.
No,
or
no,
anything.
that
has
hasn't
not.
changed.
Not
No,
everything about
no,
us
no.
has changed. That has not. 100%
Yeah,
has changed.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'll still cook, but it's more like we need to get dinner done before
It's more
the kids
It's more
have
like 3
this
o'clock,
activity.
and Josh says, "Hey, hon, what are you making for dinner?" And I'm in a meeting, and I say, "I don't know."
Yeah. What's for dinner
What's for
tonight?
dinner?
Yeah. That was
Good question, man.
classic one when we were kids too. Call my mom after school. Mom, what's for dinner? And she's like, well, what are you guys making? I'm still at work.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's really hard actually, because like I think as our relationship has evolved and when we were dating, it was so easy, right? We'd pick something up, we'd eat, whatever. Now it's like it really has to be thought through. The kids might not like to eat, depending on what day. Maybe they'll eat salmon, maybe they won't eat salmon. Sometimes, like if I make turkey, they think it's chicken, or like,
Yeah, this chicken's really good. Well, it is chicken today. then.
yeah, or I'm trying to eat healthier, but I still, we're eating mac and cheese still a lot. That's like a staple in our diet. So, I think like we've been trying to, have a healthy diet and be healthier, just the two of us too. And
Well, I know that we're doing something right because the kids like broccoli. So
they love
I mean-
broccoli. Yeah. And asparagus.
yeah.
No,
yeah.
not asparagus.
Yeah.
Green beans. It's green
Yeah,
beans.
green beans.
Green
and
beans and broccoli, but no salad. I think they've adamantly just recused
Yeah,
themselves
against
from
salad for
salads.
some reason.
But I don't like salad either. So
It was an inherited gene.
it
But
might be inherited.
yeah, I mean, we met in college. I think we both had Yana was finishing her master's, I was finishing my undergrad, but I think we were we were sort of ready for the next chapter.
Well, we had to be ready because we graduated, and then like our parents kind of said like you need to go to the next. Like you can't just continue living in this.
Well, there's the
college
whole
apartment.
failure to launch kind of thing that
Yeah.
happens. So
Yeah, and so we did. I ended up in Cleveland and in the beginning, and Josh was in Pittsburgh. But now we're in St. Joe.
Well, I want to rewind that back. Yana actually transitioned to Pittsburgh and
Bribed me. He bribed me with. I don't know if everyone can hear me on this thing, but I was bribed. I would never leave Cleveland for Pittsburgh. I'm a Browns fan, an Ohio State fan.
And Cleveland rocks.
Cleveland rocks for sure. OHIO.
Parma's the greatest place, huh? Drew Carey.
Yes.
Cleveland.
Oh, that's yes.
Yeah, he's from Parma. Anyways.
Yeah. So he bribed you. How did he bribe you to come to Pittsburgh?
He got down on one knee and he gave me. He said something. To be honest, I blacked out.
Okay. We're rewinding this story
Is
too.
your marriage proposal a bribe?
Yes.
Well,
yeah,
I wasn't gonna leave
it
to
is, yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
The Stillers. I'm a huge Browns fan. We can't
So Yana had a really nice downtown apartment.
I did,
and she was
yeah.
going to see her best friend the next day, and the ring had come in Pittsburgh. So I left
going to
work early,
Colorado, yeah.
drove to Cleveland, bought rose petals, put them down the hallway.
He was
and
like
I was
texting me like, are you still at work? And I was like, no, I'm like on my way home because I didn't want him knowing how late I worked because it was
So I was waiting at the apartment for 4 hours, Wendy. A really long time. And then Yana eventually is coming home, and she always called her dad on
I would walk
when she
home,
was
and I was
walking
like,
home
call my
from
dad.
work.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he knew that I was there. He was giving me the heads up.
Yeah. He was really good. He didn't like sell
No, he
it at
didn't
all. I had
crack.
no idea. You know, it was like 10:30 or 11. I was like headed
Yeah, it
home.
was super late.
Very late. And I was walking through the building and I saw these like rose petals, but the building was also under construction, you know, as many downtown apartment buildings are. And I thought it was just dirty. It didn't like even register to me that like it was like a proposal. And I
That's
remember,
not typically what contractors leave behind.
yeah, right. And I remember vividly thinking, wow, like this place is really a dump. Like people just leave everything everywhere. You know what I mean? Like just like very tired walking through. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And then Josh was there on his knee and
Yeah, I think I had thought now for several hours what exactly I'm gonna say.
yeah.
At time.
And I walked in, or Yana walked in. I was on my knee. I actually had a camera set up. There's some really funny footage of that because it's me like pacing around for hours. Like, is she coming? Is she coming? Is she coming? So I had like all these bins stacked up with like a camera leaned on
Aw,
it. And she came in, and I don't even think I got any word out. I think she just saw the ring and was like, oh my gosh. And
Wait, you didn't actually say, I could have sworn you said something. You didn't say anything.
I don't think I got to say anything up front. I mean, of course.
Man, this is
Was
the
no.
kind of stuff that comes out 10 years later.
Wow. So he officially never really asked.
I thought
I
I just
did, I
blacked out
did.
and didn't remember.
Blacked
I
out.
thought I was just like really tired and like the emotions of everything,
Yeah.
like seeing it and it like, because I knew
Adrenaline rush.
Yeah, the adrenaline. I thought because I knew it was gonna happen. He like asked my. It was my family's very old fashioned. He like asked my dad permission and everything, and so I knew it was gonna happen. But I guess I could have sworn you said something
Yeah, I did. After I think the initial was just-
initially,
yeah.
right? So we'll have to
But
talk
we,
about that later.
you know, after that, I think, you know, Yana took that bribe, and Cleveland, Pittsburgh are 2 hours apart, which is fine, but a little bit harder when you're working long hours.
Yeah, for sure.
So Yana decided to move to Pittsburgh. She found a job in Pittsburgh and relocated about 6 months later.
Yep. And we got married. We had a beautiful ceremony, and we had our first child.
Yeah.
Eli was born, and he was born. He was a preemie,
6 weeks early.
6 weeks
Yeah.
early. So I was 32 weeks, and he weighed 6 pounds 8 ounces, which is he was a big baby. But he was considered a preemie, so his lungs weren't fully developed. And it was like a very scary time for us. I was in the children's hospital, which they were absolutely fantastic. The nurses there. I remember one time I had to change the diaper, and it was like Josh's job. He would always like change the diaper and then hand me the child, and then I would like breastfeed. And he had to take a call, and he had stepped out, and I was like, I thought maybe somebody else would come and do it. And so I was sitting there, and I was, near the diaper. I didn't know how to change a diaper because it was our first child.
And it was Josh's job.
And it was his job. And he had to take a call. And I was like next to Eli, and I like kind of raised my hand awkwardly, and I was like, hey, is anybody gonna like, I think he's, there's poop in that diaper. Like, is there a button that I need to push or something? And, all the moms in the, in the space that I was in just started laughing. And the nurse came over. She's like, is this your first one? I was like, yeah, oh my God. I was like, I had all these lists, and learning how to change a diaper was on there, and he came early. I'm so sorry. And so, she obviously, second kid, I was very well equipped, can do it quickly now, but it was a very scary time. And like, just dealing with a preemie and like having to, even just for us, like from a balance perspective, trying to like work and have, a tiny baby at home is really scary.
Yeah. It was a pretty big adjustment and caused us to start viewing things a little bit different, looking certainly more long-term, and figuring out a new balance for us.
Yeah.
I think that's it. When we were both working, although we lived together and everything. It didn't really matter if we were both working late,
For sure.
but it certainly did once we had kids.
Yeah, and I think too, like before kids, we also were very much like building ourselves up. It wasn't, we were a unit, but not necessarily, we each had our
Sure.
individual careers and things like that. So it was very, very different. And I think, when COVID hit, that was quite the, we had just moved to St. Joe.
Yeah.
It was, we moved.
October of 2019, we moved to Michigan.
Yep. And then COVID, everything
It was
shut
March.
down March.
Yeah.
So that was really quick. We didn't really know anybody here. It was just the two of us. We didn't have any family here. We were splitting the day, still trying to work.
Or night, depends how you look
Or
at
night,
it.
yeah. I remember taking calls, like breastfeeding with one hand, like on my computer with the other. Just crazy things. Or, we were both kids were not potty trained. We were just potty training at that time too. So we were trying to potty train while like still
All stuck in the house trying to work.
all stuck in
and
the house.
entertain the kids.
Yeah. So that was almost like a pivotal time in our relationship. I think like we just really started, we had to improve our communication.
Certainly.
That was one. I couldn't just we couldn't just leave when we had a fight.
Sure. Yeah. Certainly improved communication and made us kind of figure out a new balance to, balance our priorities.
Yep. And then how we relax too, I think changed a little bit more. I think whereas before, we would go have a beer or whatever. I think we played a lot of cards together.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was like almost dating again, except you had kids and that was not as ideal.
And strict schedules.
In strict schedule.
Yeah.
In strict schedules, and we were cooped up. But yeah, I think that for sure pushed for us to kind of start to rethink, just to live and how do we, want our family to be raised and just do things with more intent. I think people say that a lot, but just be more thoughtful in how we approach different situations.
Sure. Yeah, and I think COVID, well, probably for everyone in different capacities, just forced like a whole new way to look at things or react to things. And I think that's it. Yeah, we started looking at our lives a little bit more intentionally. How can we build things out to allow us to be able to balance all these competing priorities?
For sure.
I think that's something that we were talking about when we were prepping for the show, Wendy, with clients. We had one client, let's call them Bob and Sue. Bob and Sue were nearing retirement. Bob wanted to move down south.
Wait, and can I just ask, how long were Bob and Sue married?
For 30 plus years.
Yeah,
I mean, they
long
raised
marriage,
kids. Yeah. But nearing retirement now. And Bob wanted to go play golf, like move somewhere warm, play golf year round. And Sue was like, we have grandkids. I want to stay in Pittsburgh and be close to these grandkids.
Yeah.
And they ended up getting divorced, which, of course,
Very
who knows
amicably.
all of the situation that went into that. But I feel like, what is your priority in retirement of like, do you want to care for family or be in a climate where you can golf? Like, that's the wrong time to begin that discussion once you're retiring. Like, that needs to be ahead of time.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that when you are working, and I as this, what did you name him, Robert?
Bob. Bob and Sue.
Bob and Sue. Okay. I'm sure Bob was working like crazy hours,
Sure.
and I'm sure that like in the back of his mind, like he wanted some time just to himself. I don't blame him at all. I could understand like wanting just some time just to, relax and have some space away from family. But then at the same time, like if our kids have kids, like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I
hopefully
think
they
it's a
have good
balance.
nanny. But no, yeah, I would for sure want to also. But that is like, how do you plan for that? And
Well, I think having the discussion, I think that was one of the things for us that came out of COVID too, is having like our evening time. Like we get the kids to bed and like whether it's having a cup of tea or like playing cards or something, like just having that, like, I don't know, half an hour, sometimes like an hour to sit there and talk about our days and our challenges throughout the days and, our dreams, what we're looking forward to as well. I think that's been super helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think sometimes people don't have the opportunity to do that. I think the other thing that we've had over time is like kind of giving each other career advice, like talking about our challenges at work and helping guide each other as that evolves over time.
Yeah, I think like the evenings, just like having time to unwind. I think that we have not typically been very good at like going on dates.
Yeah, the structured date kind of
I
thing.
know. I read a lot of like articles on how to like have successful relationship. I'm like scrolling through it. I'm like, man, are we okay here? And all these articles are like, hey, you got to have these like structured dates. And I try so hard. I mean, we have just been so bad at it. I mean, we like,
But I think we still make time. I
We
think
do.
it becomes a priority when you don't make time.
we make
But,
time for sure, but we're not like very good structured. Yeah.
It's got to be a difficult situation for you guys because, again, you're in a new town. You don't know that many people. There's no family there. You need babysitters. You need somebody to take
Ugh.
care of the kids if you want to go on an official date night. And sometimes it becomes more of a chore because of its,
mhm.
it's this
Yeah.
thing that you feel like you have to do a certain amount of time,
Sure.
per month or whatever. And then you're like, oh, our marriage is never going to survive. And that's not true.
Right. No, I think no, that's exactly right. I mean, we did find. I would say we do have like we've
Couple
identified.
babysitters now.
Yeah, a couple. We have a really good one too, and yeah, I mean, I think that like we will go to dinner with
Mhm.
some friends. We'll have like a very casual, dinner with friends. Maybe not just Josh and I, but I think we've been really enjoying like time with the kids too. Like we'll play board games with them, So I mean, it's not very traditional where we like go on a date night.
Yeah.
Um,
But now we get to spend all day together too. So
Crazy, yeah, it's very.
we were just talking the other day, like before, like we wouldn't have lunch that frequently, but like even today we sat, even if it's just for like 5 or 10 minutes, having lunch together and just getting that chance to talk. Even if it's about prepping for the podcast.
Yeah, we have been. I would say that we do talk about work a lot, or like something that we're trying to like work on, or like I will say that yes, we do that a lot, but I think we have also been very I would say that especially Josh has been very more like intentional to give me time to do other things outside of just work, and I think that has just been incredible for me. So I've been able to do things like go ice skating. I went ice skating with the kids the other day, which is not that I wouldn't have been able to, but there was no guilt that I was like not finishing something at work, or just this balance. So being able to have that, plus just really helping people and seeing the people that we help, I
Yeah.
think that combined is just an incredible feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we certainly have been working out our work balance. I think about a decade into our married relationship,
Yeah.
we have pretty good communication. We can
We're
figure
not
out
too bad.
that the half cup of coffee I'm going to have to dump out, that kind of stuff.
He still gets very frustrated. I think like yesterday he had to bring like 2 cups downstairs, and he like gave me a whole thing about it.
Oh,
Wendy,
no.
I still get a test. You got to leave it there. See, for okay,
I will
fine.
not. So
I'll do it.
I will leave the cup. I will not take it downstairs because he brings it up, and so I feel like it's like part of the process. Like he brings it up, I'll drink it, and then he should be taking it down, right?
Yep,
So
I guess so.
I'm not getting involved in this.
Yep. But Yana's very supportive of my stuff too. Like last
Yes.
year, I went through a craft cocktail kick where I was making a lot of cocktails. So, sometimes that meant like Tuesday night, maybe she's trying to finish up some emails or something. And I'm like, hey, try out this really stiff drink. on Tuesday.
Yeah, that was amazing.
It was short-lived, luckily, for our livers, but
we were turning into like mild alcoholics.
Yeah.
It was very good. Josh has the skill set that we had even friends over, and it is an amazing
was a thing.
skill. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a thing. We're very into. I would actually go to restaurants and order a drink and one of these cocktails that he had tried on me at home. I'd be like, I don't know if it's that good, and I started getting snooty. So that combined with like just having it so often, I felt like we needed a break. So we had to pause on that hobby. But yes, I was very supportive. I'm a very supportive wife, clearly.
Very supportive of my crazy exercise goals. I think I shared with you, Wendy, that Yana got me into Leadville, my big bike race for the year, too.
I didn't like get him signed up.
I was going to say, are you happy?
Personally?
Yes.
Nervous, happy. I mean, Josh has accumulated quite the collection of bicycles
Yeah.
in this hobby of his. And so I'm very excited because I actually have a hobby for shoes. I enjoy shoes. It's crazy how we have these hobbies. Everyone needs a hobby, right? So
Never heard it referred to as a hobby before, but I like it. I'm going to use that.
we're
It's all about
supportive.
framing, right? Yeah, it's all about framing.
Yeah. Josh has been going. Yeah.
Speaking of framing, and it's odd that you guys just went there. I know you're using the word framing in a different context, but I've often said that I think shoes should be in museums. Like instead of putting them in a box in my closet, I want to put them up on my wall.
Oh, like display them.
I want to look at them every day.
Yeah, there are definitely shoes. I will say that any of my shoes like that, my feet after having kids do not fit into shoes like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe framing them is the right answer.
Yeah. If there's a pair of shoes that you really like, and that happens to me all the time. Like all the heels are like, 6 inches now. And I just look at them, I'm like, I can't wear this.
Yeah, I can't wear it. Yeah. Actually, that happens to me a lot. I will buy like shoes with big heels and then I can't wear them. And, Josh is a pretty tall guy too. And he's super tall.
Yeah, like 8 feet tall. Yeah. 5'9", guys. 5'9". 5'9". Not tall at all. Average. Very average height.
You're acting like you're short or something. I mean, it's fine. You're fine.
It's average.
Yeah. My mother's always told me that her biggest regret in life wasn't marrying like a taller man. So she can't wear because she's 5'9" and my dad is maybe like 5'5.5" or 5'6". And so she always said that it was such a regret of hers that she can't. But she, to be fair, can't walk in heels. Like I've never seen her. Like she can't actually walk in heels.
Well, this could be the chicken or the egg.
Yeah, she never could. She never practiced.
Exactly.
How long have they been married now? So that's a long
years.
time to not be wearing.
Yeah, it's 45 years. Right. So I don't know if it's a real, yes. So it's I have a similar enjoyment. But yeah, Josh spends a lot of time exercising, so to speak, although I think he's just having fun.
It is fun. Yeah. As I'm training for Leadville, I also remember that I really liked riding a bike as a kid. And there is something about riding a bike, although some of my workouts are very structured and it's very serious, but some of it is just you're a kid.
Yeah.
Like yesterday when I crashed my bike and probably bruised my rib. I need to practice dropping off of things for this race. So I dropped off of something and essentially just hurt myself.
We don't want that.
Yeah, but that's what you do as a kid, right? You're like a kid on a little bike and you're like, let's lean a board against another board and try to jump up in the air. At least for boys. Maybe that's different.
Well, the boys have been really into biking too. They see Josh. I will say so I'm super supportive. I only had one time was I really shocked or appalled. I think I actually physically let out a yelp. I was going into our bedroom and Josh was trying on
my bike kit,
his bike kit, which is, if you don't know, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's like a onesie, a spandex onesie. And I, literally yelped. I thought I caught him doing something. And that was, and then he explained to me, no, like people wear this to bike, like it's a thing. Like, and he can wear whatever he wants, obviously.
Yeah.
But that was for me probably the most exciting.
Exciting and unexpected thing.
For sure. It was very.
What are you doing? What are you wearing?
Yeah. No, he did get signed up for Leadville. Whether, I think it's very exciting. I think he will do very well. Whether or not he finishes or not is, for me, not important.
Yeah.
And our boys are just so impressed. The dad's even like, doing this. They saw the mount, you know what I mean? It's just like a crazy goal and just something exciting just to try out.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it is something that I hope is empowering for our kids as well.
Yeah.
Like, Eli, our oldest son, is like really into basketball now, but he's super shy.
Oh, he's so shy.
Like playing the games
He's
and
so
like,
shy.
of course there's always like that one little kid that's like super good.
There's really
But
good,
he's
great kids.
practicing.
He is.
And
he told me to stop. Wendy, he actually told me to like stop talking. The other day they were playing, we were watching his game on Saturday, and I'm actively supporting him.
For cheering.
Some
tips
to help him, like come on, get under there, like things that
cheering.
I'm a passionate mother. And he actually like looked at me and he gave me this death stare.
Gave you the side eye.
He told
the
me
stink eye.
He actually mouthed shut it.
He's 7.
Yeah. And he later came up to me and said, it's really hard with the coach talking to me and you talking, like, can you just talk less? And
yeah.
And I'm like, yes, okay.
People say that to me all the time, Yana. Will you please talk less?
Yeah, I'm like my 7-year-old. And so, I cried inside my heart a little bit, like, no. But my youngest, when he plays, he will stop playing and just randomly come and talk to me. So he will, they're running, and then he'll just randomly come up to me like, Mom, did you see what I just did there? Did you just see me?
So you've got opposite ends of the spectrum.
Oh yeah. So Isaac, like his game on Saturday, they wear like wristbands of like who they're matching up with as like the player that they're supposed to be guarding. He took it as like a superhero like control band.
Yeah.
And he was running around the court like, and while there's a basketball game going, and he would participate when he wanted to, but he was running around having fun. So
he loved it. He was like, when I asked him how he did, he was like, I did great, Mom. Like, that was awesome.
No issues.
And I'm like, okay, yeah. And my oldest is like, well, what exactly was the score? And I think that's very much
very opposite.
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny how different kids are. But I think like going back to like my training, like last year doing the half Ironman stuff, there would be days that like in the afternoon I would like do a run or some of my swimming training or whatever it might be. And I think like whether it's like the ice skating that you mentioned recently, I think that's been like a bit of a change for us. To have a little bit more flexibility of schedule with you working with us. I think that's been a pretty big positive.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I mentioned it before, but I think the idea of work-life balance, I've heard a lot of people speak about it and how to get that perfect balance. And I think, I'm a very firm believer that you can never have optimal balance, right? Like, there is no way that I can be perfect at home and at work. And I've always felt that like there are some days that I'm just killing it at work. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. And other days, like I just need to be at home more. You know what I mean? And I can't have that perfect balance. And again, maybe it's not the day-to-day shift, but there's definitely, for me at least, like when I think of or previously, like when I thought about it, I'm like, I can't be perfect everywhere. And so I always felt like, okay, here I am at home and I just need to give it my all, and so I would do things like, I'd shut my phone off after like 10:30.
Time.
Yeah. Not a real, but not like a normal, like, very healthy time. But still, I think, just being able to both understand like the perspective of why we have to get on a late call and, not feeling guilty of like, hey, our kids are sick. Well, I'm going to be home with them. Like, you're going to need to pick up here. Like, it's just like a very team.
Yeah, I think it allows it to be sort of our career too, not like losing identity in like yours versus mine, but it's more like, hey, we have this project going on. Yana, I know you're heading up this integration into a new software system. Like, how can I support you? Because I know you have more obligations for the time being.
Yeah, and it's very genuine. And we've been, I think we've been laughing a lot more, to be honest. If anything, I've been saying it's been kind of fun. Is it
Yeah,
fun for
I think
you?
it's fun.
I've
I
been
think it's
feeling,
fun. Although, Wendy, I do have to say, much like in our relationship, I've made some occasional missteps. We were on one call and we were on like a Zoom meeting together, and I'm like, hun, and Yana's like, don't call me hun at work.
You're
Like,
at work, Josh.
don't,
What is wrong with you?
and there's been a few instances like that where, we have had to sort of work out our professional balance more, right? And I'm sure
yeah.
there's more to come still because this is still a pretty fresh thing. But
Yeah, the team's been really great and very supportive. And I think that when they, like if we're going, if we have a disagreement or we don't see eye to eye on something, I think they kind of sit back and laugh a little bit.
yeah.
To just see how we duke it out.
Well, and I
Brace
think,
yourselves to see how it's going to unfold.
yeah, one of our advisors, who I won't say by name, specifically has told me that he's not sure how he would, work in the same thing, that, it's a different balance that we have, being able to work together. But I think that we evolved there. I don't
Yeah.
like when we first both started working, we probably would have killed each other trying to work together.
Yeah. But Josh is like, he's super knowledgeable and he's very much like an expert in his space. And like, I think that just allows us just to be in our, like, we just have our own projects that we're working on, and kind of, when we come together, it's more just coming from a space of like, hey, I know this space and this is what I think.
Right. Yeah, and I'm really good at big ideas, and Yana's really good at figuring out a way to implement said big ideas.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. We balance each other out in
Yeah.
our personal lives, so it's nice to have that in our work lives as well.
For sure.
Well, Yana, one thing that I wanted to mention to you is you were talking about the perfect home life balance. You can't be perfect at work. You can't be perfect. You're not going to be perfect anywhere. It's not about
Yeah.
perfection. It's about growth. And I know that you know that, but maybe we can get the whole word perfection or perfect out of our brain.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But you're right. You're right. I totally support the growth. And I think that is actually just us working together has been massive growth for both of us. Just for me, especially being in a industry and a space that I'm unfamiliar with. So that has been massive growth. But I think that we both have very high standards of like what we want in our lives, both professionally and personally. So, we do try to aspire to that, and again, you're right. It's growth versus perfection. But when I think of balance, I just think of, just being able to give, whether it's personal or professional, that right level of attention for the right level of growth. Because, before you're more firefighting, right? I'm just trying to firefight. And now I think I am doing it just more intentionally. And like, if the kids didn't sleep well last night, right? Like I just come in late and I don't feel guilty. I just like right now. That's where my attention has to be.
As time goes on, you get better.
Yeah,
You
for
figure
sure.
out. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's just the growth. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So what are some closing remarks that we want to make before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing for me, like having Yana on, again, this is like more my realm, not Yana's realm. So it's a good opportunity to get to know Yana better. So I hope our listeners got to, know Yana a little bit. She's like literally shaking her head. No, don't say that. Don't say that. But, I think that's it. Knowing our team is very important to me. For our listeners, for our clients, for everyone to know, I might be the face of a lot of things, or I might be the one communicating things, but we have a team of people supporting us and supporting these big ideas and systems. So it's really nice to always have people on. Yana's also my wife, so that's sort of a great piece to have her on as well. But I think like what we're trying to do with the business together, building like our business and our life around the business intentionally, is something that we encourage people to do in retirement as well. So I think that's like very congruent. Much like retirement planning, like we want to have fun together, but we also want to know where we're going and discuss, maybe those tough things that you don't want to talk about so that it doesn't end up down the line in a negative consequence.
So, Yana, how did you feel about your very first podcast?
It was great.
She's so convincing.
We can just edit that part out.
It was
Oh,
great.
that's perfect.
No. I feel. I mean, I'm very excited. I love the idea of this podcast, and I think it just adds like this whole authenticity to the firm and our team. So it's been a lot of fun listening to you guys, and I'm excited for. I know Josh has lots of much better guest speakers than I am, but I'm very excited for this year for you guys. So thank you for having me on.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah. So, Josh, how can people get in touch with you?
Yep. They can check out our website at leonardadvisorygroup.com. They can email me at jleonard@leonardadvisorygroup.com or give our office a call at 412-998-PLAN.
All right. Well, thank you to you both. Thank you for listening. And please like, follow, and share this podcast with your friends. Until next time, I'm Wendy McConnell.